Welcome to the Mojo Mundi podcast, where it's all about magic, manifesting, and movement. I'm Ginny Watts, the Dancing Witch, and this episode is about allowing the enchantment of creativity. I am all about finding new and varied ways for us to shift our energy and our vibration, to connect with the elemental and celestial energies in our bodies, to elevate our co-creating, to expand our abilities to receive, and to deepen our allowing. I am delighted to share excerpts from a conversation with my friend, Casey Krohn, as we explored how creating art intersects spirituality. Casey is a visual artist, poet, Usui and Holy Fire Reiki master practitioner, and oracle reader who lives in the Gallatin Valley in southwestern Montana. I initially knew Casey as the creator of incredible and varied mandala art. Over the years, I saw how passionately spirit and creativity fill her life. As Casey describes how she came to creating mandalas, we hear the power of sacred geometry. She describes how she imbues each of her mandalas with healing energy. Casey also details how she interacts with her environment as a way of shifting energy as she is creating her art. I invite you to listen for her examples of the power of attention to the physical world as a way to inspiration and connection with deity.
I started out by learning them by honestly just learning how to do a circle. And then a lot of times that circle is that main form. So I learned how to do very simple circle in the middle, heart in the middle, triangle, a shape in the middle. And then I expanded from there. So for me, I create a lot of, like I said, circles, stars, a lot of the same forms. It's like it's kind of mathematical, even though I really despise math. So it's my own love of sort of math coming together. Before I create the mandalas, I do my Reiki symbols. So every time. So I draw them on the paper or I draw them on the cement.
And you mean energetically?
Energetically, right. Not literally drawing them, just energetically drawing them with my hand to invoke the Reiki energy. So I guess that each mandala is healing, I guess.
Begins in the energetic plane.
It's also, I would like to say it's a spiritual practice where I put on, calming meditation music. And honestly, a lot of times I have a TV going in the background, which is not the most spiritual. I think it's the sort of the drone or the noise. But I've played with that by doing a mandala while I'm listening to a meditation or music. Or sometimes I've included the songs that I was listening to while creating them to see what happened. So sometimes music going in my head or literal earphones and I guess that's taking me into a different space than when there's birds, when I can hear the birds or tap in or root myself in. Yeah, I get excited about ice and puddles and a lot of water because of the reflection element of it and how things are distorted. How it, and also not knowing how it's going to show up. So I get to look at it in the photo. Yeah. So it's gonna show up a lot different than how I saw it. I'll be walking 2 blocks to work. There's a church. I see the window. I see a rainbow reflected off of something. And then I want to take a picture of that. And then I see a tulip that's like, take a picture of me here. I was thinking about that, about how I think the vibration of Mother Earth, when you can feel into that and feel the essence of a tulip standing up a little straighter when you take a picture of it. Yeah. Or being on a trail and then noticing a nice, beautiful, aspen.
In her elucidation, Casey illustrates how different energies, earth, physical, fire, creativity, air, intellect, lunar, intuition, and etheric, potential, weave together in her unique approach to co-creating. Finding our personal style as a co-creator allows us to sift out resistance that grows from discomfort caused by ill-fitting regimens and beliefs. We'll hear more about resistance later. For now, let's listen to how the act of creating shifts energy in Casey's body and in her life.
How the mandalas affect my body is when I'm not doing them, I feel it. For the last, I've been doing them for 13, 14 years, I think. And if I take a week off, I can feel it. It's like I get back to it. And I'm not always the most calm when I'm doing it, but by the time I'm done, I'm pretty mellow. Well, I feel the expansion. So I feel the expansion of my heart when I'm creating because it's one of my favorite things to do. So I do feel that. And then I also, I guess, if I really think about it, I'm way more grounded when I've created a mandala. I think I'm probably a better person because of doing them. I'm sure more peaceful, more still. So yeah, maybe there's definitely a stillness at the end of that, and that kind of makes me think of when you create a poem you're proud of, or a dance move that you come up with yourself that really flows, or I don't know. I guess I think a lot about that flow because, like you were talking about, getting out of the head. Maybe we're getting into the heart. Maybe we're getting into the gut. Maybe we're even doing I hadn't even really thought about it, but there's a lot of movement when I'm creating on the sidewalk, because I'm sitting on my tush, or I'm up on my, there's a lot more movement in that.
So you started to like hands and knees, or sitting on your feet, or so you're moving your hips and your knees
and then move around it. So there's a lot more, I would say, when I'm doing it on the concrete or outside with chalk, there's a lot more. It's a more movement oriented mandala. Yeah, there's a lot of joy, and I love the word vitality.
In her experience, Casey illustrates the powerful way that we can shift our vibration even if we can't always shift our thoughts. When we do something, anything, our vibration will change. How the vibration changes depends upon what we choose to do. Co-creating begets more co-creating because we are practicing the vibration of co-creation. The process of creating naturally shifts our mood, our physical sensations, our thoughts, our connection to the unseen in ways that increase our attraction of more elegant co-creating. The creative process also invites us to practice allowing. Casey's choice of creating mandalas opens the door to embracing and allowing impermanence.
So as far as I started really seeing the impermanence of the mandalas when I started doing the chalk. The impermanence is that it goes away. So sometimes people are like, oh, but this isn't going to stay. And I'm like, perfect. That's good. And I was told by somebody that when there is an imperfection in the mandala, it actually creates a rhythm. So it creates more movement. So I thought that was really interesting because I didn't really think about that. I mean, momentum, I've thought about that, but actually literally placing a star out of context in the whole mandala sometimes draws you to that star.
The effects of art are not limited to the artist. Casey's sidewalk mandalas generate an ever-expanding fabric of vibratory influence.
That's actually a psychological experiment, because when I don't have music going and I'm just drawing, how people relate to the mandalas. So I've had people step on them while I'm drawing them. I've had people step around. Yeah, it's okay. I've had people step around them. It is fun when people interact with me, whether it's a cool picture or, whatever it is. I do find that interesting when it is kind of stepped on, because I honestly think that they get stepped on all the time. I'm like, are people getting some healing? Sometimes they don't even see it.
Right.
And that's cool, too.
Even as the co-creative experience invites expansion, it also stirs up contrast and resistance, whether we are neophytes or experienced co-creators. At the same time, we have a powerful opportunity to recognize the sacred nature of receiving.
People have a thought about art. People think they're not creative. Even when I'm doing readings, I talk about creativity and I can see them shut down. And I say creativity is baking. It's gardening. It's, like an expansive view of what creativity is. So for me, it's a lot of, this drawing or my poetry, or I guess it's even creative sometimes doing a reading or doing Reiki. But I guess my biggest creativity is the photography and the mandalas. But to get back to that, people were taught from a young age that they're not creative. So we carry that from one art teacher, from one mom, from whatever it is. I don't know why I said mom.
Sometimes it is parents, their expectations of what the product has to be.
Right, and that's what it is. That's what I think we have to get away from is that product. Mm-hmm. Like trying to, and then the achievement part of it. Mm-hmm. I think that's why probably it's hard to make something that somebody wants to sometimes pay me for if I haven't already created the thing, or it takes it out of that context of, oh, this is just creating for the love of creating. It's creating as an end product. I mean, I love any art. I love the expression, like what it takes to, because I think it's brave to create. I think it's brave to get out on the stage and dance. It's brave to read at an open mic. The courage and bravery it takes to put yourself out there. I was thinking about that actually on this short walk from my car into here about being seen. And I love being behind the lens. I love being like creating something, but then getting the recognition is almost hard. Even if I'm proud of something, it's hard for somebody to say you're powerful or you're, whatever the words are, you're so brave or whatever it is. It's hard to, I think, be the step into that for me. I'm figuring that out. I admire people that are really just kind of inherently good at that, because that's not me. I was thinking about the manifestation piece, and I have a lot of blocks to it. So as far as receiving the compliment. So the receiving piece, I feel good when I am truly seen. My friend took some pictures of me. And I love them. I was like, these are fantastic. I kind of go from, oh my goodness, I'm so lucky for receiving and everything's fantastic. And then sometimes I shut down. And I shut down to that receiving. So I was thinking a lot about that manifestation of my own playing with manifesting and how I have been good at receiving or, like I said, just shutting it off and not, sometimes not realizing that I have even put that block there. So when we dropped our resistance, I think it's hard to remember that, to just drop the resistance and allow.
Finally, Casey invites us to recognize that if we want magic in our lives, we must embrace the power of allowing the process to unfold, the necessity of trusting and not knowing as a way to step fully into co-creation, and the reward for recognizing when the co-creation manifests.
Oh, I don't plan. There's never a plan. The only plan that I've had is when somebody asks me to make a certain mandala, and then I have a really hard time with it. I do. It's like I did something for celebrating women one year, and it was not a hard thing, but it took me a while. When I write a poem, it's just I don't even know what's coming. There's never a theme. I mean, I shouldn't say never, but hardly ever. Like, I'm going to write about this. It's just whatever. I like the mundane quality of just like a very simple how words come together or lines come together or shapes come together or the perception of, like I said, the reflection of after it's rained, I'm like, oh my God, there's bubbles. There's going to be bubbles in that puddle. Or after there's like hoarfrost, here's some texture. I don't know, just. But I like the not thinking about it. I like the what comes from dancing or singing or when somebody's in joy and you're not trying. Yeah. You don't have you do African dancing and the moves you just go from move to move. You don't have to think about if I'm doing it, I have to think about it because it doesn't come naturally to me. But for this it's comes so naturally that it's just like I don't think, okay, now I'm going to do this. Now I'm going to do this. Now it just kind of it flows. So Yeah, I mean, I think I love the letting go piece of that. I love the not having that. There's nothing wrong with, there's nothing wrong with an artist taking a ruler and doing a mandala that's just not my process. My process is just seeing what will come or letting go of expectations of what will come. Because I was thinking about magic, one of my favorite words. So I like what Elizabeth Gilbert says about, the big magic, like tapping into the creativity that's in the ethers. And so it's like we're grabbing it. And if we're not open to that receiving, it passes us by. And I think I experienced magic one of my first times when I jumped off of a bench with an umbrella. And the wind kind of lifted me. I don't know if that was the first time, and I was like, whoa. The wind kind of lifted me, and I got a little lift, a little flight.
How have you noticed magic showing up in your life? What shifts for you when you co-create? Are there ways that you consciously or unconsciously resist receiving? Are there beliefs that interfere with the flow of your creative juices? I invite you to investigate how I can support you in revitalizing your creative life and galvanizing your unique co-creation style. You can connect with me via my website or email or on Facebook at Caravan of Dreams MT. Our music is used by permission of the artist, Sean Phoenix. Thank you, Sean. And thank you to Bozeman Public Library for the Workbench Sound Studio located in beautiful downtown Bozeman, Montana. If you would like to learn more about allowing and how to find your unique style of manifesting, please visit my website, caravanofdreamsmt.com, or email me at dancingwitchmt@gmail.com. This is Ginny Watts, the Dancing Witch. Till next time, blessed be.